For the last couple of months, there have been a widespread amount of theories and discussions about Breath of the Wild 2. With so many theories popping up, there have been similar or different opinions and ideas about what will happen in the game and events surrounding it. However, there is one common thing that many of us agree on. It's about the Zonai and how they are somehow involved in the game's story. Now, for those who don't know who the Zonai are, I'll tell you. The Zonai were an ancient tribe that originated from the Faron region. They were said to be barbaric and warlike, as well as strong magic users. We never see the Zonai in Breath of the Wild since they disappeared long ago. In this theory, I'll be talking about what I think caused the Zonai to disappear and how it might be related to the ancient Sheikah. In Breath of the Wild, the ancient Sheikahs were monks who worshipped Hylia. They created special training facilities called shrines in order to test the hero. Each of the shrines was hidden somewhere across the vast land of Hyrule. Some of the places that the shrines are hidden are connected to the Zonai. For example, 3 of the shrines are hidden inside 3 labyrinths that are scattered across Hyrule. The Creating a Champion book states that it was the Zonai who created the labyrinths. Even without the book, anyone can easily figure out that the labyrinths were of the Zonai's making based on the structures all having images of dragons on them. For anyone unaware, the dragon was a creature that the Zonai worshipped as they viewed it as a symbol of the Triforce of Courage. The Zonai also had 2 other animals who represented the other 2 pieces of the Triforce. They favored the dragon, as you can tell when you go to the Zonai Ruins in the Faron region. The labyrinths weren't the only places that the Sheikah placed their shrines at that was built by the Zonai. One of the shrines is in the middle of the Thundra Plateau. Thundra Plateau is an area where you can see the Zonai's influence all around it. This particular shrine is unique due to it requiring you to solve a puzzle that involves 4 glowing orbs with 4 different symbols on them. What I want everyone to focus on are the symbols. At first glance, they don't seem to have any importance. However, I suspect they are of Zonai origin. I'll admit right now that I don't have a strong basis on why I think that's the case. But there is one particular thing that could provide evidence. What I'm referring to is the spiral image seen on the walls of the labyrinths. In the Creating a Champion book, it stated that the Zonai used the spiral as their symbol. When you compare it to the symbol on the orbs, you can tell that they are of similar design. I know that some people will argue that it was the Sheikah who placed those symbols on the orbs. However, I don't agree with that idea since the symbols don't match up with the ancient alphabet that the ancient Sheikah used. It leads me to believe that the Zonai helped the Sheikah with some of the challenges to access the shrines. I can also confidently say that timeline-wise, it's likely for the Zonai and the Sheikah to have met each other. In the Creating a Champion book, it says that the ancient Sheikah had built the shrines after Calamity Ganon was sealed 10,000 years ago, and it says that the Zonai disappeared thousands of years before Breath of the Wild. Since we don't know how long the Zonai have been gone, there's a chance that they were around when the ancient Sheikah was still active. There's also evidence that I believe strengthens my theory, and it comes from the Thyphlo Ruins. The Thyphlo Ruins is an area that is covered in a large cloud of darkness. It used to belong to the Zonai before they disappeared. One of the shrines can be found inside of the ruins, but of course, a shrine being there isn't enough proof to say that the Sheikah and Zonai work together. There is one thing in the area that is overlooked that does give me strong evidence, and it's the statues that you use to light up the darkened area. At first glance, the statues don't seem like an indicator of the Zonai and Sheikah's relationship. I know that some people will think that the Zonai just used them to light up the area whenever it got dark. While I do agree with that somewhat, there's also proof of the Zonai using the statues for something more. Let's look at the placement of some of the statues. There are bird statues in the ruins that can be seen placed on top of several broken pillars, but the most noticeable ones are the ones near the shrine. Then there are the 4 statues that encircle the shrine. The statues can't have been of the Sheikah's doing, since they all have the swirl pattern on them, as can be seen on other creations of the Zonai. Since some of the statues are on top of the broken pillars and lead to the shrine, it suggests that the Zonai came back to Thyphlo Ruins and set them up for the shrine. They must have done it before the area was shrouded in darkness. I also want to add another thing that might make my theory more plausible. When you beat each of the labyrinths, you gain a piece of the barbarian armor. The armor's description says that it belonged to an ancient race from the Faron region, so it's highly probable that it belonged to the Zonai. Still, there's something that doesn't make sense. What made the Zonai help the Sheikah out in the first place? I find it hard to believe that the Sheikah were able to convince the Zonai to help, let alone talk to them. As I said at the beginning of the video, the Zonai were said to be barbaric and warlike. I doubt that they would agree to help out potential enemies. However, that seems to be what happened, as I just pointed out. So how did the Sheikah get the Zonai to help them? I've seen some people bring up the Zonai being allies of the previous hero. If that's true, then it would undoubtedly be a good reason for the Zonai to help the Sheikah, as they would also be assisting the hero. I don't agree with that idea, as there's little evidence suggesting that the Zonai and the hero were associated with one another. In fact, I have a different idea about why the Zonai helped the Sheikah. I believe that it all has to do with an incident that they might have caused in the past. This is where Breath of the Wild 2 comes into the theory. In the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, we're shown that Ganondorf is sealed deep underground in a place that is connected to the Zonai. This place is one of the reasons that many of us Zelda theorists agree that the Zonai are somehow involved in the sequel game. Now, I don't have strong proof of this, but I believe that the Zonai were partially responsible for Ganondorf's transformation into Calamity Ganon. I've talked about this before in my Ganondorf Secret video. In that video, I said that Ganondorf's transformation might have been triggered by the source of the Zonai's magic or whatever they had in the caverns. Now, assuming that I'm correct about this, then it would give the Zonai an excellent reason to work with the Sheikah. Helping the Sheikah with the shrines would be their way of atoning for their mistake. It explains why they would do such things as creating labyrinths in harsh places as the Gerudo Desert in the Tabantha frontier. After helping out with the shrines, they most likely went into self-exiled, thus the sudden disappearance. Since the Sheikah never mentioned the Zonai might have been able to convince the Sheikah to sworn secrecy about this whole incident with Calamity Ganon. Still, that's just my theory. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then please stick with me for more. And thank you.